I'm Kristen Oakes-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
The election this past Tuesday saw a change in Congress. Democrats now control the House of Representatives, while Republicans increased their control of the Senate. Voters in Louisiana seemed more pleased with their representation, sending back all incumbents to Washington, as well as passing all 6 amendments on this year's ballot.
One of those representatives is Dr. Ralph Abraham of the 5th District, who serves on the House Ag Committee and is one of the conferees for the Farm Bill. All eyes will now be on this so-called lame duck session before the new Congress is seated in January to see if those conferees can pass a farm bill before the winter break. Kyle McCann, Director of National Affairs for the Louisiana Farm Bureau, says with the current state of agricultural markets and disasters, it's critical the Farm Bill gets to the President's desk as soon as possible.
We're hoping it'll expedite matters in trying to reach an agreement for conferees to come forth with a bill that can be passed during the lame duck before we adjourn this Congress and the next takes over. It's extremely critical we get something done. Not only do our farmers need to know what kind of foundation of a program they'll have underneath them as they move forward, but so do the lending institutions. The number one stumbling block has been the work requirement on the food and nutrition programs. If you can't reach a compromise on that now, then it goes to the next Congress, which will be controlled by the Democrats, and they will see that leave. So you now have a more of an, I guess you could say, an opportunity to work together on the things that you do agree on. The things that you don't, particularly this item, is something that will have to be compromised on, or else you don't have as much say-so in the final outcome of this bill as you would next year.
As you'd expect, McCann had a lot more to say than we could fit into a short soundbite. So to hear the full interview, listen to the Voice of Louisiana Agriculture podcast. We'll give you a link on our website at twilatv.org.
Well, Americans eat between 45 and 46 million turkeys every Thanksgiving. That's according to the National Turkey Federation.
A good number of those turkeys in Louisiana are cooked and eaten with other birds, namely ducks and chickens. You know where I'm going with this. It's the Louisiana Thanksgiving invention that feeds the biggest of families, the turducken. And at Hebert Specialty Meats in Maurice, Louisiana, they're doing a whole lot of stuffing for Thanksgiving. On the main drag through the small town of Maurice, you find the source of big flavor, Hebert's Specialty Meats.
My dad and his brother opened it up 34 years ago, 1984.
Quinn Hebert is 27 years old and co-owner of a legendary place. You see, Hebert's is the birthplace of the turducken, or at least that's how the story goes. Then in the 1980s, a hunter brought 3 birds to this store and asked Hebert's to put them all together. Quinn Hebert shows us how it's done.
Season our turkey. We're gonna sew our turkey up a little bit, because once you put all the birds in there, you can't really get to this side anymore, so you gotta do this side first, and then once we get all the birds, then we'll just have just the top side left to get done. We're gonna take our stuffing, pork stuffing right here. That's what we put inside the turkey. Get our duck, season our duck up. We'll get our stuffing and put inside our duck. It's another layer of pork stuffing. Close our duck up. And we'll take our chicken, the last piece. In our chicken, we put our cornbread stuffing. Go ahead and close that one up. Yeah. Just wrap the turkey around all of it. Go ahead and finish sewing it up. Season them up, take it, pack it in our bag.
Quinn says the workers here make and sell about 1,500 turduckens every holiday season.
2 weeks before Thanksgiving and then up until Christmas, it's pretty hectic.
I pass by here every day, usually stop and get something.
Christina Bork is a regular at Hebert's, not just for turducken.
I love the boudin, I love the stuffed chickens, all of the meat is awesome.
From deboned chickens stuffed with cornbread dressing to stuffed eye of round roasts, Hebert's has a huge selection of seasoned meats. And Quinn knows none of it would be possible without the farmers and ranchers who raise what he sells.
Without all them, we can't do nothing, you know? We got to get the best meat we can, and they provide that.
What Hebert's provides is a few dashes of flavor and Cajun hospitality.
Customer service is awesome. Always friendly, laughing. They recognize you when you walk through the door, and that's one of the best feelings.
For Quinn Hebert, the best feeling is doing what he's done since he was 15 and follow in his father's footsteps.
Over here, it's always been the same. Take pride in everything we do, family-owned business. Been that way for 34 years, and we plan to make it that way for another 34 years.
One of the people responsible for making the turducken a worldwide phenomenon was Coach John Madden. Now, video gamers likely know Madden from the NFL video games, but Madden was also the coach of the Oakland Raiders and a color commentator for every major broadcasting network in the country. In 1997, Madden tried the turducken for the first time at the Superdome and raved about it on the air. To this day, at 82 years old, Madden still orders turduckens from Hebert's uncle, who runs the shop in New Orleans, and he even makes a special 6-legged turducken just for John Madden and the people to whom he sends turduckens.
You learn something new every day because I didn't know that.
Have you ever had turducken?
I have not.
Come on!
Is this a South Louisiana thing?
It's like it's a worldwide phenomenon.
it
Did you not
is.
hear me say worldwide phenomenon?
I know what it is, but I've never had it.
Okay, we're fixing that this Thanksgiving. It is amazing. So the first time I had turducken for Thanksgiving, we did it for our family, and we ate off of that sucker for about 2 months because it was enough food to feed like 40 people, and we just had 12.
Okay. I'll have to try it.
Well, baking a turducken, as we learned, takes time. It's not a quick dish. In fact, it's quite slow.
But it does take a lot of heat, and that's exactly what Slow Food Baton Rouge brought for its Fall Heat Chef and Mixologist competition. As well as AJ Sabine shows us, it's a farm-to-table event that showcases the best of local food and local chefs.
At the LSU Ag Center's Botanical Gardens, the smell of delicious Louisiana ingredients mix in with the hard work of 12 Baton Rouge area restaurants for Slow Food Baton Rouge's 6th annual Fall Heat. The competition features local chefs and mixologists who ultimately raise awareness of sustainable, locally grown ingredients sourced from area farmers.
For us, it's a great time to kind of educate people about the importance of local. In addition to the chefs, when we first started out, we only have chefs. Now we have a mixologist competition, and that's a fun thing, looking at what local ingredients are they going to concoct and put together to make a nice cocktail.
Chef Philip Beard on the left plates up a wonderful locally sourced pork loin from Iverstein Farms Butcher. Showcasing sustainable ingredients lay at the heart of this fundraiser for Slow Food Baton Rouge's signature farm-to-school project, Growing Healthy Baton Rouge.
Slow Food Baton Rouge supports a school program at Dufrock Elementary School, and it's been a fun and educational aspect. Food literacy, food access, the whole realm of farm to school, which includes school gardens, bringing food into schools, and then the education piece.
Since 2009, Motzenbacher says he has seen events like Fall Heat and Dinner in the Field bring in hundreds of diners from across the area. While the organization has overcome some setbacks over the years, today he is pleased that all involved can agree on the importance of local.
For me, it's really important to support the local chefs who are buying from local farms, support local farmers, and to celebrate local in general throughout our whole area here. And we have a really fine culinary tradition here in Louisiana, and part of that is our local farmers.
With locally sourced ingredients and farm-to-table cocktails, it's clear that food tastes better from a farmer. At the LSU Ag Center's Botanical Gardens, I'm AJ Sabine for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
To learn more about Slow Food Baton Rouge, visit our website at twilatv.org. Well, farms are dangerous places. Just this year, a Point Capee man lost his life in a grain bin accident.
That's why Jeff Davis Farm Bureau hosted its second annual Safety Day this week. This is an event inspired by an on-farm accident experienced by agency manager Barry Bush a few years ago.
We have 322 high school students, grades 9 through 12, all enrolled in VOAG. We invite all the students to come, and school board is fully on board with it, very excited, especially after first year and the attendance feedback that we had.
Actually, Barry was our agency manager, kind of came up with the idea last year. This is our second annual safety day. Kind of saying about we need something for the high school students, and focused on the ag students, which worked out real well.
They're learning about first aid, CPR, knowing where you are if you have to dial 911. If, you know, friend is injured in the field, you've got to direct the fire department or the police department into where you are. Pipeline explosions, we have a demonstration on that. We have state police here doing with a rollover simulator, which is very, very interesting, talking about texting and driving, gun safety with the Sheriff's Department, tractor PTO safety done by Progressive Tractor, ATV safety that Louisiana Farm Bureau is putting on for us.
The biggest takeaway that you can have from this class is to make sure that you never operate an ATV or a UTV on a public highway or any form of road. They're not road legal. They don't have proper equipment to make sure that they can be seen by other drivers.
In the 9th grade, these kids start driving, a lot of them, or by the 10th. We have grades 9 through 12 here. They're just naturally in a rural setting in our parish. Anything can happen. Almost everyone owns an ATV these days. You see children getting in a car and they naturally put on their seatbelt now. When I was a child, that wasn't the case. Well, very few kids are putting a helmet on today when they're on an ATV, and we want that to become second nature.
PTO safety is very important. I know we get aggravated trying to hook up a PTO shaft. It's got the safety shield on it, and it can be a little bit cumbersome to getting hooked up, but you know in the back of your mind, well, it needs to be on there for a reason. And I've never had a close call, but I know what they can do to tall grass. They can wrap around that in a heartbeat. So you know what it can be done to somebody's leg or a piece of clothing.
Dangers lurking around every corner when you're on the farm or just out in a rural setting, and I'm just trying to put something in these kids in their toolbox. Just a little nugget of safety. Hopefully it helps at some point in time down the road, and you know, maybe something they can pass on to a friend.
Barry Bush is already making plans to expand next year's Safety Day to better benefit high school juniors and seniors as they look ahead toward college careers. November 11th is Veterans Day. It's the day set aside to honor all of those who have and are serving in our military.
Some veterans are finding a second career in agriculture thanks to the Natural Resources Conservation Service. Tammy Arender traveled to West Carroll Parish to learn how one veteran is using the NRCS to help him grow his football tomatoes.
This high tunnel actually belongs to Jimmy French in West Carroll Parish. Now, Jimmy has grown tomato plants. He's had a small garden most of his life, but this veteran is taking advantage of the NRCS's program to help veterans get operations like these up and running.
It's ideal for getting that first tomato out. You know, used to it was who got the first bale of cotton.
Jimmy French is trying his hand at high tunnel farming.
But I love to get out and work my hands.
French has no agricultural background. He was a plumber in Oak Grove and the surrounding area for nearly 45 years. Before that, he was in the Army. He served in Vietnam.
Went to basic at Fort Polk. Fort Eustis, Virginia was my AIT, and I went to Vietnam for a year. I spent a year and 7 days over there.
Oh, man, they putting on finally.
Jimmy heard about the Natural Resources Conservation Service program called EQUIP. Scott Breedlove and Jody Frederick with the NRCS office in West Carroll Parish turned Jimmy on to the program.
Really for all landowners, and where we can, you know, help with plant productivity, soil erosion, you know, a lot of our natural resources, and just to be able to assist our veterans and kind of help give back to them, you know, it's kind of a fulfillment for me personally, you know.
I feel great to know that you've helped somebody, you know, accomplish a life goal of theirs to do something like this.
The High Tunnel Initiative can give financial and physical assistance to those with a passion for growing to help them get the hoop house up and running. The controlled atmosphere allows producers to extend their growing season.
Really planning in my mind to be the first one with tomatoes and the last one with tomatoes.
Because high tunnels prevent direct rainfall from reaching plants, farmers can use precise tools like drip irrigation to efficiently deliver water and nutrients to the plants. Jimmy is experimenting with all types of fruits and vegetables: okra, squash, lettuce, and even decorative sunflowers. But for him, tomatoes are the top choice. And when asked what variety, he says they're football tomatoes.
I play the radio for them every Friday night so they can listen to Oak Grove Tigers win.
And you think that makes a difference?
It makes a difference to the tomatoes. I don't know if it does to the Tigers.
In Oak Grove, I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Now, French says he plans to share his abundance of vegetables with folks in the community who need it. For more information on the programs for veterans, head on over to our website at twilatv.org.
Looking at those tomatoes, I wish he'd share some with me. Farmers in Louisiana have a one-time opportunity to sign up their farm to allocate all of their generic base acres in either the agriculture risk coverage or the price loss coverage programs. The deadline for that sign up is December 7th. Craig McCain, the Louisiana Farm Services State Executive Director, says right now, with less than a month to go, fewer than half of Louisiana farmers have signed up.
We're recognizing that when seed cotton or generic base conversion or allocation of seed cotton started, we were in August. And in Louisiana, we recognize that as being the beginning of our harvest season. Certainly, we're now beginning to end our harvest season for most of our row crops, and producers are now taking assessment of how they ended their year. But we want to remind folks that part of that activity, if you're on a farm with generic base acres, is that you allocate those base acres, you make decisions about updating yields, and you get your farm signed up prior to December 7th, 2018, in order that you can participate in ARC PLC for that year.
Another sign-up deadline is even sooner. A 2017 program for those in Louisiana affected by disasters is WHIP, the Wildfires and Hurricanes Indemnity Program. That deadline is November 16th.
Well, almost $2 billion will be available nationwide for those affected by disasters. Each parish FSA determines those eligible for the program. Statewide FSA Director Craig McCain emphasized that this is only for losses incurred in 2017. Details for both the seed cotton program and WHIP are available on our website at twilatv.org.
Speaking of cotton, farmers might soon get some help from a robot. I'm not talking about Wall-E here.
With labor costs reaching more than 10% of farm revenue, Clemson University researchers are working to help American farmers keep more money in their pockets. Clemson has received a grant from Cotton Incorporated to design and develop a cotton harvester attachment for an unmanned ground vehicle, or a robot. The research is aimed at building a more affordable harvester that will help farmers reduce labor costs. The robot is programmed to go to specific locations within a field to harvest mature cotton bolls. It's guided by a waypoint navigation code installed in a remote computer. The code works with a global positioning system to guide the robot. Depending on the payload, these machines can travel at a rate of 2 miles an hour for about 2 to 3 hours before needing a recharge.
Still to come on TWILA, we see how difficult it can be to go hunting near a ranch.
But first, we see how the state livestock winners are bringing in big money. Stay with us. The Junior Livestock Sale is always a hit at the State Fair of Louisiana. This sale is coordinated by the Arklatex Agriculture Council, also known as ALTAC.
The auction raised more than $400,000, which is donated to FFA and 4-H college education funds. This year, the Grand Champion Market Steer, shown by Grant Rocca of Iowa FFA, sold for a whopping $20,000.
Feed her twice a day, 3 pounds each time. Have her on a 20%. She did pretty good on it.
If you want to know what the State Fair is about, go to the show barn, watch these kids prep and show these animals. Go to the sale.
Bid high and bid off. So again, if we can help you with anything, let us know. Let's have a great sale. And again, thank each and every one of you for coming out and supporting our kids.
We have people that have chickens, right? We have goats, we have sheep, we have pigs, we have calves, and it teaches them, one, about agriculture. It teaches them about responsibility. It teaches them about fair play and competition.
$635.60, and I have sold it for $3,500. $3,500.
This is vocational agriculture. So these kids get up in the morning before school and they take care of their animals. When they come home after school, they take care of their animals. But not only that, these animals are trained. When you see these You know, these steers are weighing probably 1,100–1,200 pounds.
Grand champion steer, Louisiana State Fair. All right, here we go. Look at me. 5,000. I'm running out 5,000. 5,000. 5,000. 7,500. I'm running out $10,000. 7,500. I'm running out $10,000. 7,500. $10,000. I'm running out 12,500. I'm 18 now.
They walk this animal, they stop him, they set their feet up, and of course you see them always petting and combing them.
60 million, that's your 6. Now 65, 2.5, 6,000, 2.5.
And you look at these pigs. I mean, these pigs, they're just so happy they're out there, you know, with their owners and the sheep and the goats and the chickens. So they spend a lot of time training these animals and working with them.
And caring for them.
Oh, what? Just go to the wash racks. And you see them, you know, the animals getting this bath and everything, and then they blow dry their hair, and then they comb them all up. And these animals are magnificent. Remember, this is the best of the best. The grand champion steer sold for $20,000.
Sold the grand champion steer for $20,000.
This is their way to college. This is how they get an education. And also, you know, when the auctioneer, when it's auction time, they always talk about, tell them who this child is, what their hobbies are, what their career path is, right? And what they want to do in life.
Is Madison Chamberlain from Coshada, 7th grader at Riverdale Academy, showing lambs for 5 years, local, state, national level. Showing has taught me many lessons along the way, and I will take throughout my life. I thank you for your support in this project, and thank you for your support from the bottom of my heart.
Those are the future leaders. Whenever you get into a room of agricultural leaders, just ask how many of you were in 4-H and FFA, and that's the majority.
Congratulations to all the FFA and 4-H participants for a successful sale. The State Fair of Louisiana in Shreveport ends this Sunday, November 11th. Still to come on TWILA, you think I have a cowlick?
Wait until you see the one a hunter has on opening day. Stay with us.
After this crazy week, I think we need a good laugh to end this week's show and give us all a little boost. It is officially deer hunting season, so many of you guys are posted up in the woods waiting for the next big one, that 12-pointer to walk out.
But as many hunters know all too well, sometimes you encounter a few distractions while you wait. This Texas hunter and cattle rancher posted this video of his hunting trip. He said on opening day, this is worse than an angry squirrel in the leaves. That does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll have plenty of stories to get you in the Thanksgiving spirit with an all-new Feasting on Agriculture.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and also we'll have better camo to hide from cows who want to lick us.
For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.